So today I want to ask you a question about disappointment. How many times have you been sold a bill of goods? How many times have you been told that this is the answer, the solution, the one thing that's going to change everything in your life, and you've been disappointed? Someone stood up on a stage, someone talked to you, looked you in the eye, looked sincere, and they said, this is the hope you have for your future. This is everything that you can look forward to and expect out of your future. How many times throughout history have we heard these words come out of a leader's mouth? Hope. I think there's a person that really says this really well about why Americans today, they're not skeptical and weary of salespeople. They're cynical. We don't want to believe anything anymore. We just don't. If anyone says something is a solution, we kind of just squint and we're like, yeah, okay, what's the catch? And there's a guy that I really just found out about. His name is Wilbur Caldwell, and he wrote a book called Cynicism and the Evolution of the American Dream. Check this out. I want to read for you just a couple stanzas from this book. It says, "What is worrisome is this. As the 21st century begins, further corruption of the American dream seems to have spawned an unflinching, self-perpetuating strain of cynicism that is blind to these cycles and thus neither tempered, diminished, nor reversed by periods of good news or by the prospect of better times. In short, today, many Americans remain cynical no matter what." And what he says and what he suggests is this. He says, idealism is fostered by hope. Realism is fostered by experience. Skepticism is fostered by uncertainty. And this is the final part. And cynicism is fostered by disappointment. And so it comes full circle, for at the root of all disappointments lie the trampled remains of hope. Are you walking around and literally just unrelenting, not believing in anything anymore? Are you just hearing messages and you're just like, you know what, it's all BS. It's all a waste of time to listen to. So therefore you shut yourself in and you're like, you know what, it's all a sham. Everything is fake. When we have leaders in our world who are almost near to it, trying to go to war on a social media feed, we have a grave sense of disappointment going on. So I'm actually not going to discount the cynicism that's happening. But the problem is that we've put our hope in things that are going to change. We've put our hope in people. We've put our hope in politicians and leaders. We've put our hope in a formula, in a process, in a system. We've put our hope in that. But what if we put our hope in an unchanging, unwavering, unrelenting force, something that does not change, an immutable power? See, I actually really, a lot of people think we're in a post-Christian world, that Christianity died long ago and we're kind of in a post-Christian world. I like what Timothy Keller says. I think we're in a post-secular world. See, we tried to kill God. We really did. We tried to kill a higher power. And what we got in the 20th century was the bloodiest century in the history of humanity. There was more people killed in the 20th century than the previous 19 centuries put together. We killed God and we saw its results. Now what's happened is we've tried to kill God, but people for some reason are still yearning for the spiritual. People are trying to find it in all kinds of ways, as long as it's not Christian. I mean, give me some healing stones, give me some yoga, give me an ashram, give me an Indian hot sweat lodge, give me something, just as long as it's not Christianity. My question to you is, has someone disappointed you that was a Christian? And are you taking that disappointment and you're turning it and infecting the actual claim with that behavior? Meaning, can you actually stop and think about the claims behind the people? Not the people behind the claims. Can you actually think about, is the claim true versus is this person corrupt or not corrupt? Now, I will grant you, if someone is believing in a claim that actually has good at the heart of it, why are they so bad? That's a whole nother discussion that we can have later, and that's a good question. But at the heart of it, are you examining the claim? Friedrich Nietzsche said, if someone stands on a stage and says, hey, I have the truth, he says, you better squint and you better look at them very carefully and say, huh, this guy wants power. I agree with him. I absolutely agree with what he's saying. So many people say they have the answer and the solution and the truth, and yet we stand here and some of us buy it. And we don't examine, not the person, we don't examine the claim. Is their claim true? Does it line up with reality? Is it consistent with where we are? Does it meet us where we're at in our experiential life? These are the things we have to think deeper about, because obviously our leaders are failing miserably. So we need to examine the claims. We need to look deeper at the claims. And I think if you're a person who is still kind of reaching for a spiritual dimension, whether you think it's a force or you think it's a, some kind of outer existence or outer being that's working, or you think it's actually a person like Jesus, we have obviously not been able to kill that transcendent draw that we have towards the spiritual realm. We haven't been able to kill it. So we're in a post-secular world. And I would ask you, if you've been disappointed, hurt, ostracized from a Christian, I want to take a moment to actually say, I am so sorry. I'm sure that person, whoever they are, they would even say, I am sorry. Because we take things and we contort them as human beings. But the claim itself, examine the claim itself and see if it really lines up. And I'm not going to tell you that you should do it and that's what you have to do. I'm talking about all claims. Anything you hear when someone says they got a solution, examine if the claim is true or not. Examine if it's true or not. And the way that you can tell this is very, very simple. Does it align with the way the world actually works? Not with the way the world's contorted reality. Okay? Not with the way people have tried to manipulate reality, the way the world actually is. All right? Is it consistent, and does it meet you where you're at on a daily basis? If it only meets you back in the 18th century, if it only meets you when you're a teenager, if it only meets you when you're 80, then that's not what I'm talking about. It should be consistent throughout your time. And I'm not talking about a sport formula drink. I'm talking about an ideological, spiritual, or religious truth statement. All right, whether that's science or whether that's atheism or whether that's any of the isms that are out there. Examine the claim. Don't take the behavior and try to say, like, well, whatever they're deriving out of that claim, how much does that behavior align with the claim? When you see a behavior, how much does that behavior violate the claim? And then you'll know if that claim is good or bad. So take this moment on Thursday, I call it Think Thursday, think deeper about some of the offerings to you in the spiritual world. We're obviously not killing religion. It's not going away. It's on fire across the world. So think about, if you're examining a spiritual dimension right now, the behavior you've seen out of certain people, does it line up with the claim? And then you'll know if that behavior does line up with the claim and it's a bad behavior, you probably don't want to be a part of it. But if it doesn't line up with the claim, then that means the people are violating it and they're not following it properly, but it doesn't change the truth of the claim. I hope this helps today. Think deeper on this Thursday, and I hope you guys have an incredible day. Thanks again for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, if you disagree with me or don't disagree with me, just go down and leave a comment, like this Facebook page. I try to post something all 5 days of the week, and thank you again for all of your feedback. Take care. Bye.